I'm Charlie Sohn, a screenwriter and journalist.
I'm Agnes Reese, a pop singer and songwriter.
And this is Mysteries of the EuroVerse
Live Edition.
This week, we're reviewing the songs from the UK, Netherlands, Germany, Finland, Australia, Estonia, San Marino, Azerbaijan, and Lithuania.
And by the end of these 4 live episodes, we're crowning New York City's best Eurovision song for 2024, based entirely on your votes.
We take a look behind the scenes at all the scandal songs and queens. So come along as we traverse all the mysteries of the EuroVerse. All the mysteries of the EuroVerse.
All right, we are here with a very special episode of Mysteries of the EuroVerse because this is our very first live episode.
Cheers to a live, Charlie.
Cheers to a live. Hair of the dog. Drink it off, girl.
Exactly. If you ever wondered about which episode you should have a cocktail while listening to,
the answer is all of them.
And especially this one.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, we were at the spot last night at the moment of recording this.
And Magnus isn't just being like cool and using cool people language. This is a bar called The Spot.
Yes. I will say the first time I heard about it, I was also confused. A friend was like, let's meet at The Spot. And I was like, I don't know what your spot is.
And you're like, I'm not popular enough to know what The Spot is.
And I will say that our event last night really hit the spot.
Incredible. We, over the next 4 weeks, starting last Thursday, are going to be going through all of the Eurovision 2024 songs, and our audience is going to vote on what their favorite is. And this is an award we're going to present to the winning artist in Malmö.
April 4th, April 11th, and April 18th. Make sure your vote counts because it's not us voting, it's all of you.
So if you can't make the lives, these episodes are going to come out at the normal time on Wednesday. This week we have Izzy Uncut, and then we're including an interview that we did with Silvester Belt, who is representing Lithuania this year at Eurovision in Malmö.
I think we should throw it over to ourselves at the bar. And as we do, cheers, girl.
Yes. Cheers. And let's hear from Charlie and Magnus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Mysteries of the EuroVerse Live, where we are going to be crowning the best Eurovision song of 2024. My name is Magnus Reese, as you heard in the intro. This is my co-host, Charlie Sohn, and our very special guest. Give it up for Izzy Uncut! Now, Izzy, how does it feel to be back on the pod?
It feels amazing. So I did a full episode, which has already come out. Lovely, amazing. Did your launch party, and now here I am at my 3rd situation, and I still know nothing about the goddamn show.
Which really says a lot for our podcast, I have to say. Thank you all for coming to our very, very first live show. This was a slightly insane thing to do, yet people came out for it. This is a feeling of power that you are going to regret having given us, I have to say.
So the criteria that the EBU sets out is vocal capacity of the artists, its performance on stage, composition and originality of the song, and overall impression of the act. Now, here's the thing. In Eurovision, you always score 1 through 8, 10, or 12. So we are, of course, keeping it to that.
Europeans can no longer be upset at the US for not using the metric system because that makes no sense.
So what I gathered is you're not allowed to score a 9. Is that what you just said? 1 through 8, 10, or 10 through 12? Is that because in German, 9 means no? And correct.
With that, we're going to get to the first song of the night. This is Ollie Alexander. He's representing the United Kingdom with the song Dizzy. Fun fact about Ollie Alexander, he was on a show called It's a Sin. That was very huge. He did a collaboration with Elton John. He did a collaboration with Kylie Minogue. He's probably one of the biggest artists who have joined Eurovision in later years.
So won't you make me dizzy from your kisses? Will you take my hand and spin me round and round until the moment
from Dizzy to Izzy.
I would love to have sexual intercourse with Ollie Alexander. I'm very familiar with his work, particularly his Instagram photos.
Hey, there's no category out here for Instagram accounts, so...
Exactly. There was one photo from a couple album cycles ago where he was laying in a jockstrap on top of a guy, thumb in mouth, and it said, "I'm shy." Look it up. It's amazing work. But as far as the voice, phenomenal. I think it's great. I don't think he particularly belts and showcases all of his abilities there. For the routine, so it was mostly a lot of just kind of like sexy imagery. I don't know that I can say there was much routine to it. Kind of like Troye Sivan's School of Wiggling. As far as the song, it's one of the better ones that he has. And overall, I want to fuck him. So I'm gonna say I'm a huge fan.
This year, we're going to see a real split in the twink vote. Ollie Alexander is the first, but already at the end of tonight, we are going to see our second highly competitive twink. So, moving to our next. We are going to the Netherlands. Now, Joost, his song is named Europapa. It's a song about an orphan traveling through Europe. First, no one knows who he is, but then he finds community. Joost's father died of cancer at the age of 12, and he has dedicated the song to him as kind of a tribute to his father, who always told him to be open-minded.
Welkom in Europa, blijf hier tot ik dood ga. Europapa, Europapa. Welkom in Europa, blijf hier tot ik dood ga. Europapa, Europapa.
So I always say one of the last remaining binaries on this earth is Williamsburg versus Bushwick. And Ollie Alexander is giving Williamsburg. This is giving Bushwick gay. Want to have sex with him, but it's going to be a very different type of sex. All around, I approve. I think he's amazing.
Europapa is a Euro daddy. There's a new space within Eurovision that's been really created for numbers like this after Karia's win last year for Cha Cha Cha. How would you break it down?
So it wasn't particularly singing. I think it was mouth noises to a beat, and I find that is valid. I'm gonna go with 7. Routine, I'm gonna go with 8. The song, I mean, it's fun, but I'm gonna have to go with 7. Okay, I mean 8. Obviously. It's not a 10. I'm not calling it a 10. I'm having fun, but I don't matter, okay? There's no 10s? There's 10s, there's no 9s or 11s. I'm learning and growing. And then overall, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's got an 8.
We are moving to Germany. This is Isaac. He has the song Always on the Run. He did compete on Show Your Talent in Germany in 2021 and won it. Just like he won the competition to represent Germany in Eurovision.
I can break up when I'm free, lost in my own identity. I'm on the run, 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 run. I'm always on the run, 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 run.
So I have to admit, I want to have sex with that man. We are no longer in Brooklyn. He's giving Astoria boy down. And I find that so beautiful and powerful. I have to say, I loved the song, and I'm gonna give this guy a 10 in the voice, okay? When it comes to the routine, this is where we're gonna be docking points. It wasn't much of a routine. There wasn't much production. He was in a hoodie. I'm gonna honestly go with 5. Yeah? Is that too low? We're okay with that, right? Okay. For the song, I'm gonna, a 9 would be perfect, but I can't do it, and I'm so nice. I'm gonna go with 10 for the song. I think that's a fun one.
The most meme-worthy Eurovision act really is Windows 95 Man, who actually just so you know, is a meme. Like, he became famous when John Cena retweeted a photo of him. His Eurovision song is the first song he has ever written, but his song No Rules is an artistic manifesto against the pretentiousness of these sort of highfalutin institutions that he found himself a part of as a performance artist. And so now he is taken to the Eurovision stage with No Rules, and I think we can just hear it. Also, another important fact about Windows 95 Man is that he is currently in a fight with his country's public broadcaster. They want him to perform this song naked on the Eurovision stage, and that is one rule that Windows 95 Man apparently has.
So there's two of them. That is Windows 95 Man. And is this kind of like the hype teen of like, remember when LMFAO just had those people that would like jump around the stage? Perfect, I love it. Windows 95 Man, obviously I want to have sex with. This one I might have had sex with already. We have to do further investigation. We're gonna go low on the voice, right? Okay, I'm gonna go with 7 for the voice. Routine, I think we gotta go. I'm thinking 12. For the song itself, let's give it a 10. And overall, I'm gonna give it a 10. The light up short little sparkler situations, very cute, very fun.
So we are moving on to Australia. This is Electric Fields with one Milkali or one blood. But one of the fun facts about this song is that it includes an Aboriginal language in Australia called Yankunytjatjara. That will be the first time that language has been heard on the Eurovision stage.
What you gonna do in the real world, Mickey? What you gonna do when you see Milkali? Escape with us to the planets, to the Fleetwood Macs and the Janets. Milkali live while entertaining the gods.
So first of all, I'm celibate. Something about that man just staring at me, kind of just vibing around the entire song. It made me feel a little uncomfortable. The song itself, though, kind of a fucking bop. The song gets a 10. The voice, honestly, gets a 10 as well. As far as routine, I'm gonna go with, honestly, a 2. I'm gonna give it a 1, honestly. They just fucking stood there. Their graphic designer did more work than they did. So overall, I'm gonna give the whole shebang, I'm gonna have to give it like a 6. Like the good song from a good voice is not enough.
All right, so we are now moving to Estonia. The title of this song translates to, "We really don't know anything about those drugs." This song is an exercise in subtext. I think it's absolutely brilliant in its construction. So it's a collaboration between Viis Minust, who's a hip hop group, a chart-topping hip hop group in Estonia, and they teamed up with a band called Pulup, which is a new folk band that plays a lot of folk instruments but mixes them with looping. And basically the idea of the song is the band gets pulled over by the cops, and the cops are like, "You definitely have drugs in your car," and they keep insisting, "We don't know anything about these drugs." But they do. They do know about these drugs. So let's check out the performance. Izzy, what do you know about these drugs?
I don't know anything about the drugs that they're on. I know everything about every drug every person in this room is on. Share. But I do have to say, Estonia, beautiful word. I'm gonna name my daughter that. I'm gonna have to say, we're gonna go down a little bit for the voice. I'm gonna go with like a 6. For routine, I'm gonna go with, they had a lot of energy, but not much of a routine. People are saying 10? 12? Jesus fucking Christ. I was gonna go with 8. They had good energy, they had a lot of fun, but there wasn't, would you call it much of a routine? All right. Well, slay. We all have different words for things, okay? Language is beautiful in that way. The song itself, I'm gonna go with an 8. I think a 9 would be perfect, but it's illegal. And then overall, I'm gonna go with a solid, let's do a 7 or 8. 7 or 8, what are we thinking? 7 or 8? So I'll go with an 8. I'm going with an 8.
San Marino. Not the biggest country in the world. They used to do an internal selection for a long time. Now they kind of just steal artists from all the other countries, and they're like, hey, you didn't do so well in Italy, so like, why don't you come to us? Or, Megara here, who were in the Benidorm Fest last year. So this is 11-11, San Marino. This is Megara. Let's take a listen.
For the first time tonight, my mouth is the hole that's agape. I am obsessed with that woman. I love women. This is the first girly girl we got. We had the 2 people staring at us. One of them looks like they identified as female. They were just staring at me though. They weren't. This girl was giving rock, and then she had these fun little dancers and their creepy little skeleton costumes and for the voice, I'm gonna go with a 12, honestly. For the routine, they're getting a 12. For the song, I can't say it's my favorite, but it's still a 10. Overall, I'm gonna go, do I do 10 or 12? What do we think? I'm gonna go with 10. I'm still gonna go with 10. I think there's room for better. I love it. She's powerful, she's exciting. She's what Olivia Rodrigo could be if she moved to, I guess, San Marino right now, okay? Just in 20 years, that's Olivia Rodrigo, but not from America. I'm obsessed. I love that woman. Would die for her.
Amazing. Moving to Azerbaijan, our second to last country of the night, we have the artist Farid, who actually has a master's degree in law. He teamed up with Ilkin Dovlatov, who is a folk singer. The song translates to Take Me With You. It's a love song, and without further ado, I think we should hear it.
I was a little bored. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was great. He obviously is a great singer. He obviously is hot. I do feel like he knows it. And that's okay. The voice is good, obviously. The voice, I'm gonna go with an 8. The routine, I'm gonna go with a 6. And then for the song, we're also gonna go with a 6, honestly. And then overall, let's give him a 7.
Moving on to the final song that we are reviewing for the night. Silvester Belt is the person representing Lithuania with the song Luktelk. Silvester Belt has said that Troye Sivan is his ultimate idol. The lyrics were kind of crafted so that they would not be that hard to sing along to, even if you don't speak the language.
noriu šokt, stovime tyloje, grojančio radio, nebenoriu šokt, bet man reikia šokt.
Okay, Izzy, the final act of the night. What are your thoughts?
All right, so sexually I'm reactivated, obviously. I couldn't, okay, so the cinematography is giving the 1989 stadium tour, like, video, where you don't see a single shot of Taylor Swift for more than 1 fucking second. And it's her from a side angle, her from the back, her up close over here. So I didn't really get a good look at him. His vibe seems cute. I saw a nose ring. Did I see a gap? Does he have a gap in his teeth? Most Europeans do. But like, and I message sent with love. My boyfriend has a gap. I find it very sexy. I once tried to file one into my own teeth when I was a child. I think the song was fun. So I'm gonna go with the voice. Let's give it a 7. As far as the routine, I'll give it also a 7. It's kind of middle of the road for me. And overall, he's given me 7. I had fun. I obviously would love to have fun with him individually.
Before we get to submitting our votes, I just want us all to give a big round of applause for our lovely guest, Izzy Uncut. Let's work that runway. Work that runway. We are going to Malmö for Eurovision, and we are going to be reaching out to the artists to hand their award in person. So your vote matters. Okay, Charlie, what are your feelings on those first 9 songs?
I have to say, one of the joys of Eurovision and discovering these Eurovision songs is how much my opinions on some of these songs have changed based on the lyrics. I will say, Europapa keeps growing on me. The Estonian song, I think, is really cool and really well constructed. Silvester Belt is my favorite, and he is towards the top of my list.
Well, and I gotta agree, like, I'm a big Silvester Belt fan. I freaking love that song. But I also say, what I think is interesting is, I did find that listening to these songs in a space full of people on, like, loudspeakers, it made me change my opinion on some of the songs. It's an incredibly strong Eurovision year.
So we're going to have those results for you in a little bit, along with one very special musical performance. But before that, here's our interview with Silvester Belt, whose song Luktelk will be representing Lithuania this year in Malmö.
So growing up, what was your relationship like to Eurovision?
I don't know how it is in other countries, but in Lithuania, it's like Christmas. Everyone's obsessed. When Lithuanian artists perform, the streets are empty. It's been like this since I was a kid as well. We were watching every single year. Every year, there's someone who surprises me. But if I had to choose, I would say Loreen probably changed history in a lot of ways.
What drew you to electronic and rave music?
With every single rave I go to, it draws me in even more. The crowd is very different. The music itself, I used to think it's meaningless and it's just random sounds repeating on a loop. But then my life was taken over by techno music, and then I would listen to it in gym and everywhere. So then eventually it also introduced itself into my songwriting.
When did you start writing songs?
For majority of my life, I didn't even want to write songs. I felt like I had nothing to say, and it felt like a wrong time for me to start doing it. Maybe I was scared that I was gonna be shit at it. I was waiting for something. And then when I moved to London to study, I was kind of forced to do it because we had to. I remember my first song that I've ever written. I came back from uni for lunch, and then this melody just started kind of coming out of me. I was imagining like orchestra, and then I started to sing, and even the lyrics came out. So then I was like, what's that new feeling I have? And yeah, the song was released, actually the first song that I ever written, and it did quite well.
The first song you wrote was Noise?
Too much noise, I can hear your voice, I can hear your heartbeat, spread your body heat, there's too much noise.
I mean, it was very different in my head. The approach of the production It was very different, but then I talked to this producer and he sent me two versions. One was like, okay, so this is what you would like. And then the second one was his approach to it, and he thought I should choose that one. And I did, and I'm glad I did, because I explored that kind of style. It wasn't totally me, but it did well in terms of views.
What was the difference between the two tracks that the producer sent to you?
The original option that I wanted was very sad. And I was imagining more instruments, not like the whole orchestra, but maybe strings. And yeah, it was just more depressive.
In 2010, you were in the national final for Junior Eurovision. Can you talk about that experience? What was it like competing in a contest like that so young?
I was not in the best place mentally. My teenage years were kind of dark times for me. As a young gay boy, I had to deal with bullying and all the shit that comes with it. So it's difficult for me to kind of talk about it and remember that time, since I just get PTSD.
No, that's fair.
But then now reliving it and maybe healing the wounds that I have from it, it prepared me for the actual thing, because it's kind of like a tiny version of it.
Then, like 7 years later, you performed on another show, I Am a Super Hit. Can you talk about that experience? Was that a more positive experience for you than Junior Eurovision?
Yeah, I was already out and proud. I just finished maybe the first year of uni, but I experienced London, which changed my life in the sense that I accepted myself and got to live in a world where I felt normal, you know? So going back to Lithuania was easier for me to be out and proud. So that was definitely a more positive experience, because the audience saw that I am accepting myself, and then it was interesting to them. And I even won the show. So definitely more positive.
Afterwards, you worked behind the scenes on a reality show, like in production?
Ever since I was a kid, I was just drawn to TV shows. I was thinking about maybe even studying TV production as well. And I got this opportunity to work on and to see everything behind the scenes. And that house that we lived in for 3 months, it felt very strange. You can only see some cameras, but despite that, you're kind of just in jail, really. Very bizarre experience. And then once I got to see the outside of it, how the production comes to life and everything, it was interesting.
After that, you stepped in front of the camera again on TV when you competed on X Factor.
I feel like every TV show that I've done, it kind of all represents different times in my life. I am very different in all of those experiences. Seeing myself now in Eurovision, I'm finally proud of myself. Like, I got to the point where I can watch my performance and see it's actually pretty cool. My past experiences, I would cringe. In my head, I feel like I'm the same and I have the same dreams. But what was lacking was the experience and the skills that I didn't have. Learning how to sing properly, breathe while singing, performing with cameras, being confident with myself, with my music, even writing music that I'm proud of.
Luktelk is such a cool song. Can you talk about sort of the birth of that song, how it came about?
The whole thing feels like a trip that I didn't choose. It just feels like I'm just living in it, but any of it wasn't my decisions. I guess it was just natural. I just woke up. I was like, Eurovision, maybe I should do it. I have a session today with 2 of my friends. Should we just try to write maybe something for it? And then, yeah, we started writing it immediately. And I was like, maybe Lithuanian song would just not work. But then my friend was like, step out of it, calm down. Your goal is to show different sides of you and just to show something that you created. Don't think about winning or trying to please everyone.
The song is in Lithuanian. And, at Eurovision, there's sometimes this old fashioned idea that, like, if you want your song to win Eurovision, it's got to be in English. And recently, we've had Måneskin, we've had College Orchestra. So the contest really seems to be changing. Can you talk about the choice to release the song and submit the song in Lithuanian?
If you're doing something just to win, that's the first problem. And it's just not going to work because people are not going to connect to it because it's not about winning. It's about some sort of unique thing that you're creating. And when it comes to Lithuanian language, I was skeptical myself. I used to be very ashamed that I'm Lithuanian. We have things about Lithuanians that I'm not proud of, and I used to be ashamed of it. And I can now say that I'm kind of responsible for how the world sees Lithuanian culture and everything. Even though the past is in the past, now we're creating the future. I want my song to be in Lithuanian because I want to show the world our language. It's one of the oldest languages in the world. And it's slowly dying as well. I feel like if we're going to do everything in English, then what's Lithuanian about it?
When you talked about the hurt of the younger version of you who was in the closet and who had to go outside of Lithuania to find that pride in yourself and to now be able to be that representative, I'd imagine that heals some of that pain. And now I would imagine there are young people in Lithuania who maybe don't need to go to London because they have you and they have this Lithuanian representation of seeing themselves on screens.
Yeah, it's very beautifully put. I might be the first openly gay person in Lithuania that represents us in Eurovision. A lot of singers in Lithuania who are gay, they're closeted. So it means a lot to me that I can be that person. People actually voted and we won. That never happens. Gay people would be runner-up. I'm not maybe like the face of LGBTQ plus people in Lithuania. It's still a part of me and I'm proud to represent them. I wish I had that when I was a young boy because we didn't have that many people who would be very open. There's this stereotype that gay people are weird. There's something going on that's crazy about them. And then, like Troye Sivan, for example, he's just like a random boy. He used to do YouTube videos. Like, there's nothing crazy weird about him. And he's just like, hi, I'm gay. I'm just like you. And we didn't have that. I hope that I could be that inspiration to someone.
Can you talk about the process of working to put that visual presentation of the song together?
I found the guy that did visuals literally on Instagram stories.
Wow.
The story was sponsored and I was like, that's a cool visual. Who is this person? And then I opened their page, I texted them and we started talking and he was like being very generous. He was not in it for money or anything. And everyone on my team is very inspired and they're buzzing just like me. We were filming the first semi and it went quite well. I was like, okay, people are in the audience already resonating to me. And like they streamed this a few days later. And then it was an immediate reaction from people, from the audience, the messages, the views. I was like, okay, we're on to something. Like I can't explain it. The song kind of got on trending and on Spotify, on YouTube. And it was just like a virus spreading, to be honest. Like people would email me, text me saying, what the hell did you put into that song? Like I would wake up at 3 a.m, I start singing it and I'm like, am I sleeping? Is this like a dream? What's happening? So yeah, like the whole thing started to just kind of expand. And then we got to the final and I had pressure for sure. A lot of people were saying, you're going to win this. But I was like, just calm down, people. Let's live in the moment. Let's enjoy like the preparation every single step of the way. And then when it comes to actual winning, then we can enjoy if we win. If not, then we can celebrate what we achieved anyways, because the whole thing is just a dream come true anyways. I was trying to control not the emotions, but how I used them, because it was very easy to get lost in them. And on stage, I wanted to kind of focus myself. I wanted to ignore the whole world and just present my song, my message. And then when we won, I just couldn't believe it. Like, to this day, I just had to accept this as my new reality. But in my brain, I just don't think it actually happened. It just feels like it was a dream. And one day I will wake up from it.
How do you feel about preparing yourself for that even bigger stage? And do you have any plans for changing the act for Eurovision?
I feel like there were more pressure being in Lithuanian selection, because I just didn't know if people are going to accept me, and all these doubts. Now we did it, and now we're celebrating it. Whatever happens in the actual Eurovision, either way, I'm going to be happy. Like, there's no scenario where I'm going to come back and be like, well, I'm ashamed. I don't want to jinx it. Maybe something might happen. But I just feel like even if I mess up, I'm just going to be happy that I got to live in that. Probably a few weeks before it happens, my body will come back to that stressed state. In terms of changing things, I thought we're going to have a lot of time, but apparently that's not the case. So I don't think we'll have a lot of changes. It's just going to be bigger. That's once in a lifetime that I'm going to be performing on a stage like this. Swedish people, they have it all. Like, all the cameras, there's unlimited access, Even if I would come to, I don't know, doing stadiums, arenas, whatever, I don't think we're going to have the same technical side of things that we have now and possibilities. So I really want to explore it and enjoy it.
I was wondering, what you think the relationship between your queer identity and your music and your aesthetic is.
I'm just being me, really. I've always wanted to just feel free to look the way I look, act, dance, and do all the things that I am in a comfortable way. I just wanted to stay authentic. I just want to write songs about my experiences, and obviously it's going to include boys. So I guess you could say in that way it will be queer.
Is there a piece of advice that you've gotten either from another artist or from a teacher or something that really stuck with you?
I just kind of always ignored everyone and tried to do things my way, because then you can explore and then you can fail. But if you fail and you know why you failed, and then, learn things. I don't like to follow someone else's path just because it's safer or whatever. But yeah, I got an advice now from someone who's been on Eurovision as well, saying that people now gonna want a piece of me, and just try to keep something to yourself. It's a good advice, because I started to feel like I'm just giving something out of me that I don't want to. I just feel like maybe I just need a few days off without communicating to anyone. And I don't think that's gonna happen.
Speaking of inspiration, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Troye Sivan. What is it about him and his music that you respond to?
I used to dream of being a YouTuber. I used to dream about releasing my songs. Literally every single step of his career and everything he's done just felt like something I wanted to do with my life. But he was a few steps further. I don't think there's anything that he could release that wouldn't resonate. I'm just obsessed with his way of thinking, creating, writing, expressing himself in visual ways, the way he's connected to his family. It's just everything about him. It's even creepy, I guess.
Silvester, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're incredibly busy, and we are very excited to see you perform at Malmo.
Nice.
Yes.
I want to meet you guys.
Oh, we'd love that.
Absolutely. We will be
Please
there. So
send me a DM.
Awesome.
Great. Thank
Will
you
do.
so much
Will
for
do.
having me. It's my pleasure.
We're going to move on to a very special surprise. We have one more song for you guys. A live cover of Dizzy, which is the Ollie Alexander song that we started with. And we, for this live cover, are going to be featuring Magnus Reese.
So here's a little bit more laid back version of Dizzy.
There's a place where we break the line, make it a circle redefined. Beautiful gardens, eternal flowers. You know the way, so take me there. Won't you make me kiss for the kisses? Will you take my hand and spin me round and round until the moment never ends? Make me dizzy from the kisses. Will you take my hand and spin me? Take me back to the beginning again. I feel still in the air. Time is frozen, no memories lost. So won't you make me dizzy from the kisses? Will you take my hand and spin me round and round until the moment never ends? Make me dizzy from the kisses. Will you take my hand and spin me? Take me back to the beginning There isn't an end, there isn't a start. I don't want to stop, I can't go too far. There isn't an end, there isn't a start. I don't want to stop, I can't go too far. There isn't an end, there isn't a start. I don't want to stop, I can't go too far. There isn't an end. So won't you make me dizzy from your kisses? Will you take my hand and spin me round and round until the moment never ends? Make me dizzy from your kisses. Will you take my hand and spin me? Take me back to the beginning again, again, again. Thank you.
So we have our results. The song that placed third is from Estonia, Vis Minust and Hulo, with We Don't Know Anything About These Drugs.
Okay, so that is third place, Estonia. Moving on to second place. Okay, and our second place with a beautiful silver medal over there is Ollie Alexander with Dizzy, the United Kingdom. Okay, so that is second place. Number one, Charlie, let's do it together. That's right. The favorite song of the evening is
Joost. With Europapa.
Netherlands.
Welkom in Europa, blijf hier tot ik dood ga. Europapa, Europapa. Welkom in Europa, blijf hier tot ik dood ga. Europapa, Europa.
We just want to thank you so much for coming out. This has been absolutely delightful. I hope you come back for the next 3 Thursdays. This has been so amazing. Thank you for voting. Thank you for participating. Thank you for loving Eurovision. So, we hope you join us next week. And then until then, happy Eurovision.